Welcome, fight fans, to episode 17 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. Welcome back for another great episode. We got two local MMA fighters joining us this week. First, we have Zackery Pow Pow Powell. He's a lightweight. He won on the weekend. He's now 4-0, fighting out of Gatineau, Quebec, and trains out of Niagara Top Team. We also have another Niagara Top Team MMA fighter, Teshay, my house, Gouthro. He's fighting this weekend at LFA 93. Hooks In alum is headlining that card, so make sure to tune in. We've got Aaron Jeffrey on the headline, and if he wins that, there's a good chance he gets the call up to the UFC. And then heading into hot headline news, there are a couple new matchups that, rumblings are happening. We've got McGregor Poirier, Yan Sterling, Hooker Diaz, and Magny Chimaev. And then finally, getting ahead of that book, we've got Easy Lines, looking ahead to the Ortega Korean zombie fight this Saturday night on ESPN. Get out that Bet365 account and let's get some parlays locked and loaded. Adam, start us off with hot headline news.
Thanks, Ben. I guess the biggest news lately is the announcement that McGregor and Poirier have agreed to fight in the UFC. Thank God. I know we talked about they were thinking about doing a charity sparring match. We're glad that they're getting back into the octagon. There's been talks that they're going to have it at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, which would be pretty exciting. If you guys remember, the last huge stadium fight was GSP at the Rogers Center, broke all the records for most attendance. Not sure if they'll be able to break any records with COVID, but it's in Texas and everything's bigger in Texas. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any predictions of the rematch? Zone?
Yeah, I just obviously really excited. I can't wait to see that. McGregor, pushes the needle more than anybody ever in the history of MMA, I think. So always exciting when he can get back in there. He puts his illegal, stuff, personal stuff aside and gets back to doing what he does best and to what people want to watch. So excited for the rematch. Poirier is quite a bit different than he was in their first matchup. Way more experienced, way more versatile, and he's going to give McGregor his best go. He can definitely win this fight. The thing that I don't really like is McGregor kind of copping out a little bit, saying, yeah, this is my training. This fight is my training for a Pacquiao boxing fight after. It's like,
yeah,
if he ends up losing, he can just say, well, I really just wanted to make the money after fighting Pacquiao, which is going to be a good draw as well. And he'll probably make more money in that fight than he will with Poirier. But it's kind of, I don't know. He's taking the easy way out by saying that. I still think he can win. It's going to be a lot closer, and I can't wait for it either way.
What was the other big fight announcement? Oh, Peter Yan versus Sterling. That's an exciting fight coming up. Do they have a scheduled date for that?
Yeah, it's December, what is it, 12th, 13th, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's the 12th one, right? Or I think, was it the Usman one fell out, though, right, for one of them?
Did 256.
Yeah, they might have. I might have been that one they replaced.
They did replace, but they're the co-main. So they're taking a backseat to the Nunez-Anderson fight.
Yeah, well, I think that's an exciting fight for sure. I mean, Sterling just came out of a great performance over Sandhagen, and Sandhagen just made Moraes look pretty silly there last. Well, maybe not silly, but like, you know what I mean, kind of dominate him, kind of finish him, right? So I think that's pretty interesting to see kind of what happens there. Yan, I don't know, like, well, to see, I don't know, maybe the odds are already out. Certainly, I think, they probably are, but I haven't taken a look at them. But Yan certainly is going to be the favorite. But, Sterling's pretty slick on the ground there. So if he can somehow get it to the ground, he has a chance to do something down there, right, to finish the fight. So
how good did Yan look against Jose Aldo, though? That guy's a beast. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find it ironic, not ironic, I guess, but just you knew the UFC was doing this. They booked Marias and Sandhagen, basically giving Marias the opportunity to finish Sandhagen, and I really do believe Marias would have faced Jan if he would have won in decent fashion. And immediately after Sandhagen upsets him, they announce Yan and Sterling. So they were keeping Sterling, in the back seat and waiting for this fight to happen. Now Sandhagen, he's calling out either. Well, it looks like it might be Dillashaw when he can return off his 2-year hiatus for illegal drugs. And it's interesting. Marias actually said too he wants to fight again in December. So I think the perfect matchup for him, even though they trained before, is Pedro Munoz. So they could potentially be a matchup on the same card as Jan and Sterling. But either way, looking forward to a few of these matchups in the bantamweight division.
Yeah, what
All
else was
right.
coming up there? There was the what did you say before? Kron's the hook. Was it Hooker and Diaz that there's got like
Yeah, I just saw on Twitter they're going back and forth, what weight? Is it going to be 55, 75? And then it looks like they're going to settle on 65. So obviously not confirmed, nothing inked, but man, what a fight that would be. Holy. Hooker's been getting all these wars. Diaz, of course, he's known for getting in wars. That could be an unreal, maybe Super Bowl pay-per-view. They usually do the big one, right? February.
It really
So
could. It really could. Like Hooker's last fight with Poirier and then the one before that with Felder were two of the best 5-round fights you could ever see. Diaz, like you said, is unbelievable for that. It's weird. Diaz last week said Hooker's the best fighter at 170, which was really weird because Hooker wasn't even fighting at 170. It's like he was almost like
Well, he might have been
throwing.
stoned.
Well, yeah, he's probably stoned, but he was throwing it out there to trigger somebody like Usman or Burns. I think he was chirping Burns actually with
right,
that
trolling.
trolling, but it might work. It's a perfect fight. Like when I think about it more and more, it's like, man, Hooker, if he has another one like the last two, like how much longer is this guy gonna fight? Like he's just
Oh
getting
yeah.
pounded in like
Hey.
Perry's girlfriend.
well, he almost finished like Poirier like the end of the second round, or like it was very close, Hooker during him in his fight against Poirier. So yeah, no, that would be great. But one thing I wanted to make sure we get in here tonight, if you guys saw Poirier's interview with Ariel Helwani talking about the money stuff with the UFC, right? And he was a consummate gentleman. He had plenty of times he could have badmouth Dana in the UFC, and he really didn't. But it's pretty messed up how Chandler has making more money than Poirier and Tony Ferguson, and Chandler's like on a 1-win streak over Benson Henderson, got knocked out by a 145 before this, and Tony Ferguson was literally on the craziest fight streak we've ever seen. Like he should have been a champion. He was on like 11 fight win streak, just killer after killer, ridiculous stuff. They don't give him the respect, and that pisses me off. And Dana has even talked. I think I talked about it once on this podcast before, but Dana did this business talk presentation at Stanford University. He talks about his, contracts, how boxing's doing it all wrong. Say they give them too much money, then they only fight twice a year and they never fight again, right? Because you're giving them too much money. Whereas his thing is paying them less on the base salary, trying to entice them with all these performance bonuses, right? And these backroom bonuses that we don't even really know about, or who knows, right? So I really don't agree with it. Poirier is every single fight is an absolute banger, like with this kid.
Yeah.
So like,
That's
I don't know how. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm done with my rant.
It's such a stupid theory that if you pay guys too much, they're just going to run away with the money. Like, you think the best fighters in the world, they want to be champ. They want to be the champion. So, well, they're just going to, fight a couple of times, win, lose, and then, I just, I made a few $100,000. I'm going to retire. Like, no, like these guys, if they truly want to be the champion, they're going to keep fighting. Right? Like,
yeah. And if you give a guy $1 million and say, or $10 million, and say, if you fight again and you get another 10 million, who's going to turn that down? Like another 10 million? Even if I get crushed, I get 10 million. Yeah, you get it. Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's it's not. I mean, certainly, if that keeps happening, you're going to stop. But it's not. That doesn't stop guys from fighting. It really doesn't. You're gonna stop working so someone's gonna tell you that you're gonna make more money. That doesn't make sense. Like, so
Yeah.
it just in the long run, they need to at least come it up, like bring it up a little bit, right? Like it's just a little ridiculous. Like these guys getting 500K, like Poirier 500K base salary for one fight. That's not enough in my opinion for a professional athlete at his level. So that's and his comments were, I'm way more mad than he is. It's like, so that's the thing.
Ferguson's chirping. He's like, who the hell's Chandler? I've never even heard of this guy.
The logic makes no sense. It'd be just, I like kind of doing this, comparing UFC to other sports. It'd be like an all-star player in the AHL or in AAA baseball, something that makes more money than someone in the major leagues or in the NHL. Like, how, in what world does that make sense?
Yeah.
How is Philippe Linds getting $1 million in PFL, comes over to UFC and he gets knocked out first round?
That's a great point. Yeah, he's lost. He's 0-2. He's 0-2.
Yeah, that's insane. What world is this? Like, it makes no sense.
No, it really doesn't, Franz. It really doesn't. Like a guy that's making 60K base for one fight just knocked out a millionaire fighter, apparently. Like, doesn't add up. So
and the
they got to figure that out.
Like, of the bonuses, like I get like that makes a little sense to me, but I don't think they've structured the bonuses in a great way. Like we always say, if you knock someone out, you finish, 10K guaranteed, and then give 50K to the best one of the night. And
really, that's minuscule for what they make. Let's say in 14 fights there's 6 finishes. That's only 60K. They make so much more than that, right? So like I was saying, like 14 fights, if there's 6 finishes, that's like, if you had 10K per finish, that's like 60 extra K. The UFC can definitely afford that. What do you think, Kronz?
Yeah, I mean, a drop in a bucket is 10K for the UFC. You got to think every stoppage that happens, the fans love that shit. They're going to tune in to the next pay-per-view. They're going to tell their buddies about it. They're going to start resharing tweets. I think the revenue to be gained for stoppages far exceeds 10K. So I think everyone wins in that situation. And we as fans all win too, because we'll see more exciting fights. So let's do it, Dana.
And off your point, what about last weekend? So Joaquin Buckley faces Impa Kasanganay, and Kasanganay's the big favorite, the Contender Series guy. He wins his first fight in the UFC, and we see one of the best spinning kick finishes, maybe the best finish ever in the history of the UFC. Like Dana comes up to him after, and obviously he got 50K for performance, but Dana whispers in his ear, like, I wish I could give you all 4 of the bonuses and give you 200K. And he's just like giggling and laughing, but literally he actually should be getting all those, but
it's worth $1 million.
Like based on the viewership and all the video likes and shares and all that stuff, right? Like, what do you guys think?
Is that the first knockout ever when someone's like caught a guy's kick? Like,
I think it might be in the UFC, maybe
before?
in the UFC.
I think a guy's like punched the guy, like caught his kick and then punched him and kind of like
Anderson Silva, I feel, had one, didn't he?
I know, like Nico Price had those couple kick ones where a guy like, but I don't know if he was holding his other foot though.
It was from the bottom.
That was one of the craziest knockouts ever, for sure.
Probably the most athletic move I might have ever seen in a fight. I've watched that video replay, I don't know, 50 times, and I keep trying to figure out, how did he get all that torque and like the force with one leg and the hip rotation? Like,
well, he caught him with his heel, which is like hardest part of the foot.
How'd he twist around and like whack him so hard off of one leg? Like, his balance and core strength.
He must practice that. He must practice.
Agreed. Yeah.
They were saying that. And I remember a couple months ago, he came into the UFC and fought Kevin Holland, who was on a 3-fight win streak and has looked really good. And Holland's, but he's really, really exciting watching him, especially with no fans, because all he does is friendly chirps during the fight, like, come on, Buckley. I remember watching that. He kept saying that, let's go, give me your best shot, Buckley. And Buckley didn't win his opener, but then he comes back in this fight and has one of the best finishes ever. It's incredible. And they just rebooked him for December. So now it's like all the viewership Kronz was talking about for if a 10K finish, if they just give that, like, think of how many people are going to watch in December because of the finish Buckley had this past weekend. Nobody knew about him the last couple months. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, now he's in the UFC and he's already made a name for himself. It's worth the price of admission, even though you can't be there to watch, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah, it's awesome. Like we, as over the years, we watched the sport evolve, and now, like, how many times have you seen a guy catch a guy's foot? And now it's like that's gonna be in the back of everyone's head. Like, if I catch his foot, am I gonna get knocked out with his other leg? And then we've seen all these calf kicks now. Typically guys always lead with the leg in their stance, and now it's not safe to have your leg out front, right? You end up getting your losing the nerve in your leg. So
it's a great point.
It's awesome watching the sport evolve. Like, no one's safe.
Yeah.
Imagine in like 50 years that spinning head kick's like a regular thing. Like, that's like, once a night you just see that. Like, oh yeah, that's
it's like a nut shot. It's
like a split decision. Just ho hum.
Like, what's next?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
And I mean, on that same topic, I mean, you gotta give a quick shout out to Sandhagen and that head kick, devastating. What a great win, great fight. Like, I almost wish it went another round. It was really exciting for the first round and a half or so. And
yeah, and a minute before that, Kronz, he yelled out, "His orbitals broke," and you could hear him saying that. And he said he thought it might have happened, but he said he mostly did it because he thought it would trigger him, and it did, because then Marias just kept coming out of his normal fighting stance and throwing bombs, and he got caught. It worked. The head games kind of worked.
Crazy. Yeah. Great finish. So
yeah, I think I think the only other one quickly, if we can say, is the Chimaev Magny one, maybe.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
yeah, so I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Magny's the only one that has offered to fight him. He's a ranked fighter. He's up there. Yet Chimaev is not. So to me, that's a high risk, low reward. If Magny wins, what is he really? He's not going to get to the number one contender spot. If he loses, he's going to slide. It's kind of shitty. He called out saying, yeah, unranked fighters are calling on ranked fighters. Ranked fighters won't take on other ranked fighters. What's going on? I'm sure Leon Edwards is in that same, conversation. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's definitely gonna help with Magny's stock if he's able to beat him. I mean, no one wants to fight him, and how else do guys get ranked? They gotta beat someone that's ranked. I mean, everyone has to make that leap at some point. Obviously, no one wants to fight Chimaev, so I mean, if Magny comes out and stops him, like, fuck, he's gonna have a big fight booked after that for sure.
It sort of reminds me a little bit of Cheeto Vera and O'Malley.
Yeah.
Where Cheeto's like that kind of gatekeeper that's done pretty well, but he hasn't got over the top, a top 15. Magny, similar, hasn't beaten that major name. Yeah, he beat Lawler, but Lawler's best days are over. And then you got this up-and-coming guy that wants to fight everyone, calling out everyone, a ton of upside for the UFC, marketable, and Magny could derail that train. It's possible. I actually, I give him a chance, but Chimaev just seems on another level. I don't know. I'd love to see the fight, though. I'd love to see it. See, what do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love to see it as well. And I hate bringing it always back to this, but I feel like if they were making more money, then they would be accepting some more of these fights. Like, again, like Davidson kind of said before, it's like, you got to take that leap eventually, right? Every guy in the UFC has the possibility of fucking you up. They're all great. So it's like, you're going to have to fight a killer, but you want a matchup that's good for you. I don't want to fight half these guys. I don't want to fight a wrestler. I don't want to fight a striker. I don't want to fight this, or this guy's too tall. This guy's too short. Like, so they really got to, kind of figure out that matchmaking a little bit better. But yeah, if they had better incentives, of course, they would be accepting these fights a little bit more. And yeah, sometimes, maybe there's something that we came up with. I think, Kronz, you were saying, like a penalty system, right? Like, if you don't accept a certain amount of fights in a year, then you're just, right, you get docked a certain amount of pay, or you get cut from the roster or something, right? Like, they need to come up with something, maybe some sort of more of a systematic thing in terms of, getting these fights booked, because the biggest fighters have a tough time getting booked, like the most popular ones, and it shouldn't be that way. So
Yeah, and I think the UFC doesn't do themselves any favors too when they book these one-off fights where, guys jump the rankings, and, like a Henderson versus, what was that fight where he fought for the belt and he jumped ahead of like 5, 6 guys? Oh, when he fought Bisping, like there's plenty of guys that, earned the title shot, and then all of a sudden they just, obviously
yeah,
everyone wants to see the fight, the rematch, but I mean, like, it doesn't look good on the UFC when they have actual rankings that mean something, and then they just book these fights. It's like, well, what's the point of having rankings? You know what I mean?
yeah, oh yeah,
So they need to sort it out for sure. I think the guys will be there'll be less guys getting fired up on social media and stuff about bookings, and we can go all day about
Well,
fighters pay. And
yeah,
I think there's some structure to be had, right, for the rankings. You look at other individual sports, tennis, golf come to mind. They have like a recency bias built into the rankings, meaning if you haven't played in a golf tournament in a while, you slide down the rankings, right? Because
yep,
you haven't been there. That way you can't just pick and choose the easy tournaments to go in. You're going to do well, play the courses that suit your style. Same for tennis, right? There's certain surfaces that suit your game. No, if you don't play, you slide. That should be something play into that in the UFC. You haven't been there 6 months. Sorry, you
I
start slipping.
I agree, because there's no middle ground. There's, if you haven't been active in a year or 2 years, then you're out of the rankings, but there's no middle ground. If you haven't accepted a fight, they should move you down. There's no, like I said, middle ground. So I agree that would be, that's
yeah,
incentive for them. Like, and it should be dictated also with pay too. If you slide down the rankings, you're going to make less because you're not in
Yep.
that upper echelon, right? So I agree with that. That's good.
I love that. I love the 3 strike idea, Kronz. Like, you turn down 3 fights in a row, and then all of a sudden, boom, you drop 10 spots. And how funny would it be if you go on the website, and beside every fighter's name, they got 3 dots, like, just like you're watching baseball, 3 strikes,
Yeah.
and you're
Hey,
like,
man.
oh, Conor McGregor, he's got 2 dots right now. He like, and then everyone would be thinking, well, what fights is he turning down? Like, because there's some stuff that would be behind the scenes that we don't know about, right? That'd be hilarious.
Oh, I think we're on to something, boys. Let's send this episode out to Dana here.
yeah,
Well, we are going to tag Dana and Sean Shelby on this episode based on one of our
yeah.
guests, so they'll definitely hear this, so
Good,
they can
good.
listen to that.
Well, I know Zeman was talking about, well, the fighters want to make money. You know who else wants to make money? The Hooks In alum fans and subscribers. They want to get their Bet365 up into a healthy margin. So, yeah, let's crack open the handicaps and start getting some parlays going here, Z.
Yeah, thanks, Kronz. Well, to jump right into it, I guess this weekend we got main event, very exciting matchup, featherweight division, Brian Ortega versus Chan Sun Jian. Don't even know if I'm saying that right, because I
Korean
just
Zombie,
yeah, exactly. Just way easier to say. But
best nickname.
Zombie, yeah, oh, unreal, best, one of the best in the game. But Zombie, obviously he's a decent sized favorite coming in here, minus 188, with Ortega sitting at a plus 162. Last time we all saw Ortega fight, I actually saw him live here in the ACC in downtown Toronto, so that tells you a little bit of how long it's been since he's actually entered the octagon. That was a championship belt fight with Max Holloway, which, Max displayed a superior striking. Was able to get the finish by doctor stoppage at the end of the 4th round. Korean Zombie, he's coming off 2 first-round finishes over Renato Moicano and Frankie Edgar, most recently in December 2019. Before that, he had his Fight of the Year candidate in 2018 with Yair Rodriguez. A lot of people thought he was, kind of winning that fight right before Yair landed that crazy elbow on him last few seconds of the 5th round. This fight overall, is a tough fight to call in my opinion. It's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be very exciting, I think. And I can really, see it going back and forth. Zombie, I think, is going to look to use his reach advantage and, seemingly better striking skills with Ortega. Although, who knows what's kind of happened the last 2 years with Ortega, right? He's been off. There's been some talks of him partying and things like that, but now his mind's back in it. But one thing I know for sure is that his striking is going to have to improve quite a bit since last time in order to kind of hang with Zombie. There's, basically is another reason why it's kind of hard to call, right? Is because Ortega's activity as of late. A lot of these fights that he's won via choke, against Cub Swanson and Moicano, he was losing on the feet before that, kind of badly even, before he sank those chokes in. So, I'm going to go with Korean Zombie here at -188, parlay him with a few things we're going to talk about later. Him by finish +100, 5-round fight, I think looks good. Not the best value, but, in my opinion, probably most likely outcome. Ortega, it's extremely tough outing. He took a record amount of strikes against Holloway before the doctor was forced to stop it. So, I don't really see him going out early. I'm also liking the over 2.5 +100. I see Zombie getting a finish at the end of the 3rd or maybe 4th round. Could Ortega kind of get a crazy choke in the 2nd, early 3rd? Maybe, but, certainly not banking on it. Put it on the over. But what are you guys saying?
I agree. I'm going to go with the favorite here. One thing about Korean Zombie is he actually has unreal takedown defense. The only way I see Ortega beating him is if he somehow gets him to the ground, but he's not a guy that's easily taken down. He has a reach advantage over him. He's a much better striker, and he has the best nickname in the UFC. I think he should come out to Zombie by the Cranberries. Does he come out to that? He should. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the favorite here.
Yeah, I just put some money down earlier today. I just happened to be checking the Bet365 account and 2.5 on the over, and I'm so happy that my good friend Ben Easy Locks Zeman just said over 2.5 because I definitely put that on the over. I like it.
Gotta think there's a bit of ring rust on Ortega here, and you gotta
Yeah.
think that 1st round he's gonna be trying to find his range, feeling them out. I see it being pretty slow to start. I think 2 years is a long time, and recency bias. How's this guy at number 2? He hasn't fought in 2 years, but
Well, he fought Zombie's translator.
oh yeah, there you go.
It's all
Yeah, and
slap.
you know what? This fight's been rumored for how long? 18 months, right? So it's a long time coming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Will be
Yeah.
interesting to see Volk face the winner here. So that'll be cool.
Yep. Yeah, excellent. Looking good. And next up, we also got Jessica Andrade. Oh, actually, no, Cyril Gang was going to be there, but that one got canceled. So I think the co-main event has been moved, possibly to Jessica Andrade.
It is.
But
You're
anyways,
right.
It is.
yeah. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. So yeah, Andrade moving up to flyweight to take on number 1 ranked Kaylin Chugagian. Hopefully, I'm saying that right as well. Andrade still the favorite at -150 though. Kaylin's a +125. Andrade last fight was against Rose Namajunas, where she lost by split decision. It was a close fight though. Andrade used a lot of confusing head movement actually to get Rose off her game a little bit. The first 2 rounds, Rose got the better of her, but Andrade was kind of starting to land some extremely effective strikes in the 3rd round. That really damaged Rose quite a bit. Actually Rose kind of looked almost worse at the end of the fight. If that fight was to go 5 rounds, who knows what kind of would have happened there. Caitlin, though, last fight was a decision over Antonina Shashenkov. She got finished by her sister Valentina, of course, in a championship previous to that, though. I'm leaning pretty hard on Jessica in this fight. I do believe she will be able to use her speed and head movement to really get on the inside of Caitlin and land those heavy hooks that she has. I am wary of the size difference though here. Andrade has a 4-inch reach disadvantage. She's 5'1". Caitlin's 5'9". That's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I don't really know why Andrade was moving up to 125. Maybe one of you guys can explain that to me or know something. But she's not. I don't think she's cutting that much for 115. But so I'm not really sure if that's gonna lead to really any type of advantage across the board, other than in like the speed. But certainly, she's not going to experience that strength advantage in grappling exchanges that she enjoyed at strawweight. So that's kind of one part I'm kind of wary on. But I'm going hard on Andrade here, minus 150. You can parlay that maybe with Zombie, like we said, or the over. Andrade by decision plus 200 looks excellent to me, excellent value. Also, the fight to go to the distance minus 200. Good to parlay with some other things like Zombie. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I agree with the with your pick here, and I think the over is a nice bet here. Like every single fight, I'm gonna butcher her name, Chukagian.
Chukagian.
Yeah. Every single fight she's had in the UFC has gone a decision, win or loss. Or no, she has one round 3. Well, the one to
against Valentina,
which was round 3 as well. So, I mean, I think the over on this one's a good bet.
Yeah, I'm not going to be touching this until right before the fight, 15 minutes. If I'm either up or down on the night, I'll throw some money on it. But I have no suggestions for anybody because Chukagian looked really good her last fight, but it's really hard. We always talk on this podcast on who you fought, and Antonina Shevchenko is nowhere near Andrade, so I can't really say. I think it'll be a good fight. I think it's a little bit underrated. Unfortunately, it had to move up to the co-main event because I personally, I know you guys were looking forward to watching Cyril Gane fight. I'm a huge fan of his, and I really think he is the future heavyweight champion in the next couple of years here. But he just keeps getting rebooked, and some unfortunate events happen. So no suggestions for anybody for betting from me.
Fair enough. What about you, Kronz? What are you thinking?
Honestly, man, don't know many fighters on this card, so I'm gonna take a back seat, follow easy lines, and probably do some research, Saturday morning and throw in a DraftKings or two. But yeah, not overly familiar with a lot of these guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not the best card. Obviously, we got the big pay-per-view coming up.
Absolutely, that one.
Just to throw out, not even just betting, just one fight to watch on this card. I know Z, you might have another fight or two to talk about, but one fight on this card I'm really looking forward to is bantamweight division Thomas Almeida Jonathan Martinez. So Almeida was undefeated for forever, and then fought Garbrandt. I think he has 2 losses on his career, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
22-3.
22-3.
Which is unreal.
So he's had a bit of a slide the last couple of years here. He hasn't been super active. But Martinez is really fucking aggressive and super active. And I think it's going to be fight of the night. So I have no suggestion for betting wise, but it's a must watch fight. It's fantastic on paper. So.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, and for the rest of for this particular card, I don't really have any other picks. The only thing I want to give a little preview here to our Easy Lines betting family. I know last week I kind of spoke about getting a few more numbers out there. Right now we do have everything kind of I guess everything kind of counted up to at this point to the beginning of September. UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Sakai. And up until at the end of that night, we are a total of 38 wins and 18 losses for a cool 68% winning rate there. We are obviously going to take a look at those other events and start adding them in there. But we've kind of gone 50-50 the last two weeks. Obviously looking to improve this week as well. Next week is the big fight, as we were speaking about. So there's going to be a lot more picks next week. Don't worry about that. We're going to give you a couple more locks. So just enjoy the ride, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys. See you at episode 18.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we have 4-0 professional lightweight. Just coming off a big win last weekend, improving his record to 4-0. He's born in Gatineau, Quebec, and currently fighting at a Niagara top team. Zach Powell, how's it going today?
Hey man, it's going super good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We appreciate it. So yeah, just growing up in Gatineau, what are some of the hobbies that you had, and when did you first start getting into MMA?
So growing up in Quebec, like hockey's big. So I played hockey. I started at around 7 years old and played a very high level. Basically tried out for some QM GHL teams when I was like 16. Didn't make any teams, but I was already started MMA at the time, just training for fun and like for fun. I know I wanted to fight one day. I just didn't know I wanted to do it for a living. And then later 16s, I quit hockey and then went all in into MMA and knew I wanted to do it for like a long time and find a UFC. So I've been at it ever since and been doing the sacrifices since I'm about 17, like not going out, not drinking, not doing all that stuff, just being all in the sport.
And I got to ask you, from where you're born, I'm a huge Habs fan. Is that your team or?
Yeah, it's my team. Like
All right.
I was a Washington Capitals fan for a while, but like I'm cheering for a team. It'll definitely be like Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, hoping something happens in the next couple of days here in free agency or trade. So we'll keep locked in on that. Just speak to your gym. We know where that's at, but your coaches and some of the training partners that push you every day.
Yeah, so I'm on a Niagara top team now with Chris Prickett, who's my head coach. I also do a lot of work with Matt DiMarco Antonio and Lyndon Whitlock. They helped me so much to improve my game so much as I've been here. I've been here for about 3 months now, and I've seen big changes in my game, and I feel so much more better and in a better spot. And training partners, like there's Romero that always gives me good rounds. Jared Dumont, who's an up and coming amateur, always there for me. I got Kevin Bastien from Gatineau that's down here right now getting me some work. He also cornered me. He's a great guy. I've been training with him for 8 years. And yeah, they're like just a solid team over here. Like I couldn't name everyone, but I'm pretty sure like people know who they are, right? They're always on my Instagram. Like it's Niagara Top Team is the real deal.
Yeah, so I went to high school with Lyndon and Josh Hill. Lyndon, had a tough post last week seeing about Parabellum. I guess just talk about how shitty this year's been and, how unfortunate it is for a successful gym with a lot of good fighters training out of there to kind of close up. And yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's a sad thing to see, especially like it's so hard to get a good gym going and like have a good thing going for MMA. Like it's a tough business, and seeing them go out like that is sad. But I do have a feeling that they will be back and better as soon as all this is up. Like they're good guys. They know what they're doing, and they'll figure it out. Like they're smart, and probably they're the best in probably like that area too. So I'm sure they'll be back with something better, and when like all this government abuse is over.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, you had this big fight last weekend. You're at 3-0, and Yemi Aduwale. I didn't know too much about him before. Did you know anything about him going into that, and did he surprise you with anything during the fight?
I watched some tape. Like he's a good guy. He fought some good dudes. He doesn't take any easy matchups. Like his losses are to very good guys. And well, his last loss was to a good guy under LFA, and his first loss was like at welterweight against a dude that's like a middleweight. So like, I was expecting like a good fight. Nothing surprised me, but like I could say like what bothered me a little bit was how big he was. There's like a second weigh-in for Alabama State Commission where you can be 15% over the weight, and he ended up being like I think 17% over the weight from weigh-ins. He went from 162 to 188 on the night of the fight, so like it was a little hard to deal with.
Oh wow.
especially like the pat he took in the fight. Like as soon as he was on his back, he was like putting us in a stalemate of not trying to work. And I'm a guy that like takes advantages of people that like, when you try to get up, then breaking down even more and like get a better position. But he was only on to like that guillotine lock, but not applying it. So we were just in this stalemate on the ground. It made it like a boring fight. And I just have to figure out like, it wasn't a boring fight, but like those exchanges were like, for people that know MMA, not the casual MMA fan.
Yeah.
I just gotta figure out like pushing the action when people try to like just hold you down.
Yeah, fair
Not
enough.
like just grip you up and like wait for a stand up.
Yeah. But you did get the win. You got your hand raised high, and you're right in the mix of things for what's next, right? I think you're lobbying for like a Dana White Contender Series fight. I think you definitely have the skill set to do so. I guess just speak to the viewers and to anybody listening. Why you deserve a chance like that.
Yeah, I think like when you look at skills and attitude and mindset and like everything you want in a fighter, I think I had all that Saturday night. From people talking to me, like I was the most skilled fighter on the card from like a general public would say. And I think I deserve a spot on Contender Series, but like I'm pushing for it. I'm gonna keep working for it. Like I'm not entitled to it, but like I think I deserve one. But I'm gonna keep working for it until I get it. And if they want to give it to me, like I'll take it. Like I know they reinvited Sherrod Blackledge, and I'm not sure if he's matched up yet, but I definitely take a fight against him. Like I don't think he's any better than I am, so could go out there and have a good scrap.
Yeah, that sounds good to us. We'll keep getting that name out there, and hopefully they give you a ring. What do you like to do after fights? So you won on the weekend. Did you get a chance to celebrate it all, or?
Yeah, a little bit. Just had some fun with my corners with Kevin and Chris. Like had one beer. Like I usually don't drink at all,
Yeah.
so beer was enough for me. And we didn't sleep because we left at 3 a.m. from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to go to the airport in Birmingham, which is an hour away, and our flight was at 6 a.m. So we didn't sleep that night and pulled an all-nighter. But like it was a crazy one. It was just like talking in the hotel room and chilling after we went out for some good food. And then we caught some sleep on the plane ride home and hanged out in the airport a little bit during the layover. Nothing special. We got a nice Thanksgiving dinner tonight because we're all quarantined up together, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you get to at least have some good food and enjoy Canadian Thanksgiving here.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of the hobbies and activities and stuff you get involved with outside of training and fighting? And do you have a family and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like I don't try and get involved in something that takes too much of my time. Like I think like I'm all into this, and I don't want to do too much else. Like all my focus is on this. But I do like to read. I do like to catch up on books and read about different stuff like psychology, philosophy, and like spiritual books and self-development books. If not, like I have my family back home in Gatineau, and I try to visit them at least. Like I officially moved here now, so I'm going to try and visit them in like every like 2-3 weeks or so and spend a little bit of time over there.
Awesome. Our last segments between rounds, I'm going to ask you a question. There'll be a couple of answers. Okay.
Perfect.
Favorite food to eat?
It's a great question. I'll have to go with pasta.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
To watch basketball, to play basketball.
Did you watch last night?
I did.
Yeah. What did you think?
Very disappointed.
Yeah, you were hoping Miami?
Yeah, I was hoping Miami. I was hoping anything but the Lakers, like especially with the stance that LeBron is taking. Like I have nothing against like the BLM movement. It's just I think LeBron is going off a stretch. That's just all it is. I think he's stretching it a little bit too much, but that's just general feeling.
Yeah. Favorite getaway spot in Canada?
Gonna have to say Mont Tremblant.
Favorite country in the world other than Canada?
Sweden looks dope.
Yeah. Never been there. I'd like to go though. What's your favorite kind of music?
Punk rock, like the old stuff, like Blink 182.
Yeah, that's good
Group
stuff.
like that.
Favorite movie of all time?
Super bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite book?
I'm gonna go with the one I just read before the fight, Mind Gym. I think it's a great book great simple book to develop your mindset for sports.
Cool. Favorite philosopher?
Uh, can't pick. I have no idea.
And who's in your top 5 pound for pound fighters of all time?
Of all time? Okay. Do I have to rank them or just
No,
say top five?
just top 5. Yeah.
All right. Khabib, GSP, John Jones, Anderson Silva, and I'll have to say Israel is up there.
And if Khabib beats Gaethje in a couple weeks here, and he comes back and fights GSP, who do you think wins that?
I'll say Khabib.
And any sponsor shoutouts or social media?
Yeah. Shout out to Virus for hooking me up with the best clothing I've ever had for training. Shout out to Emlo Shoes, Jock Farm, Haley's Boot Camp, Cynical Sons, Buckingham Hyundai, and shout out to my team and my manager, Matt Dodge.
So Hooks in MMA, we just wanted to congratulate you for your win last weekend. You're 4-0 now. Lobbying for the Contender Series opportunity or anything even bigger. Hoping you get that. Hoping the name gets out there. We really appreciate your time, Zach Powell. This is Hooks in MMA.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, man. Take care. Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have an 8-1 amateur fighter with a 3-0 professional record. He's got a big fight coming up this Friday on the LFA promotion. Teshay Gouthro, how's it going today?
How's it going, man?
Good. So you were born in St. Catharines. What kind of hobbies did you have growing up there, and what got you into MMA?
Hobbies. Well, I actually grew up in Welland. Born in St. Catharines though.
Okay.
But Welland, I grew up as a fat kid, you could say. You know what I mean? And there's not too many races out here, I guess, in Welland, colors. So I guess I got picked on a lot, and I was told never to take shit, so it got me in a lot of fights. And I honestly loved fighting since I was a kid. All the action movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, all the old school ones.
Yeah.
Always loved all those. Just obsessed about fighting. Never thought it could be a career until I watched the UFC. Actually, Chuck Liddell smashed Tito Ortiz. That was the one. Yeah, I seen that on TV. I think it was on Spike, and that kind of just cemented it. But other sports I never really played. Hobbies, I wasn't really into anything, just hanging out with friends, just causing trouble, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. So yeah, what gym are you at currently, and a couple coaches you have, and some of the training partners you have?
I'm out of Niagara Top Team, and then Parabellum's my second gym. And right now, my head MMA coach is Matt DiMarco-Antonio, and Chris Prickett as my wrestling coach. Lynn Whitlock is my second striking coach. Yeah, and we're just grinding. Oh, and I got Mulan. I just hired a new boxing coach, actually. So I've been working with him for the past 2 months. It's been pretty good. And another coach, my strength and conditioning coach, Zach Spinoza, under Forge Fitness. Been working with him this past year. He's built my body, so feeling really good for this one.
Awesome. So yeah, you fought a couple times in the BTC fight promotion. We had talked with some of the people running that promotion, Sherry and a few others.
Yeah, sure.
In the past. Great promotion. It's been a tough year for a lot of people getting fights, and a lot of promotions in Canada starting up an event. It's just been really, really difficult with the virus. Just wondering what fighting in that promotion a few times, how that's kind of prepared you for a great start to your pro career and a big fight coming up this weekend.
It's been good. Good people at BTC. I like fighting close to home, but I don't think I liked it as much as traveling out of country. I like going out of country and bringing some heads back with me. But no, BTC definitely brought me up. They got me good matchups, not easy ones, tough guys. Fought for Prospect 2, my second pro fight. That was a good promotion. Yeah, both promotions put on great events, and I'm ready for anything. This LFA is much bigger. As you know, it's on UFC Fight Pass. More eyes are going to be on me, and I shine when the lights are on, so I'm really excited.
Looking forward to that. So that is this Friday. It's October 16th, and you're fighting 5-1 Justin Wetzel. Do you know anything about him?
Everything about him. I got the fight. I'd say Wednesday. I heard about it. Confirmed Wednesday night, and that whole day I was just watching him, studying him, seeing how he is, watching tape, watching interviews, just seeing how he is as a person, how he acts, his mindset. And then I know he comes from a big gym and all that. That shit don't matter. I know his boy just won a beautiful spinning back kick, Corey Sandhagen on the weekend. He's probably all hype on that. He's probably very confident. He's coming off 3 wins, pretty sure. 2 finishes. Knocked Buddy out in 30 seconds. Not impressive, but he didn't have his feet under him. Wasn't even looking when he dropped him. The fight before that, I'm pretty sure he fought a guy that was 4-2. TKO'd him in the first round, I'm pretty sure. I just watched it last night for the 5th time, I'd say. Still not impressed. It's a good fight for me, man. He's probably watched tape on me. My last 3 fights, I could care less. I'm getting better month by month. And it's been a year since my last fight, so my whole game's developed in ways he couldn't understand. I'm still shocked by how much better I am. I videotape my sparring every time I go, and I can see all the little things, and I correct them every single week. So I feel confident.
Yeah, fully invested and doing that research. I like that. That's going to bode well for you Friday. What do you like to do after fights? How do you celebrate, and how do you get your mind off all that training leading up to the fight and the actual fight itself?
Right after the fight, I'll probably, if there's no interviews right after, I'm drinking. I got a couple shots in me. Probably smoke a big one and just relax. It's gonna be COVID now, so I don't know how Kansas is gonna be for going out. But we got a flight early in the morning, so probably not too many drinks. But when I get back, I'm gonna have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then right when quarantine's done, it's actually my birthday on the 31st. So it's gonna be the first birthday I can actually let loose.
Yeah,
Don't have nothing coming up after, so
happy early birthday, and we hope you can get it to 4-0 on this Friday.
Thank you, man.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what are some of your hobbies and activities outside of training right now? You got anything going on? You got a family, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I got a girlfriend. I got 3 dogs. You still there?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I got a girlfriend. Okay. I got a girlfriend and 3 dogs. Just adopted a 1-year-old.
Oh wow!
So he's a lot.
Congrats.
He's a Present Canario. He's like a buck. Thank you. He's about a $140, so he's almost up to me. And
Oh wow!
He's a lot of work. Yeah, he's a lot of work. I got a bike when COVID started. I just been biking, but really I don't got too much hobbies. I just focus on training 2-3 times a day, spending time with the girlfriend and the puppies whenever. Right now the goal is just get to where I want to be, and that's it. Everything else, it's like everything else doesn't even matter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So yeah, exactly. But so where do you want to be? What's like your goal here? What's next after this fight? I know you don't want to look past
After
it, but
this
what's your
fight,
long-term goal, I guess?
I got so many. After this fight, finish the next 5 to 6 guys after him. Hopefully get the call to the UFC. I want to be double digits when I enter the UFC. And I want to be ready, right? You see guys go in there not ready and they're out. Like they lose the first 2, lose the first 3, maybe win 1, and then they're out, right? I'm in there to win them all. So I want to be extremely ready when I go in. And I'm young too. I'm 25. I got nothing but time. I'm not stressed. Yeah, UFC, make it in there, take out some guys, top 15, then top 10, top 5, UFC champ. That's the goal. In time, though. In time. I'm still young.
Yeah, I like that plan because I you don't want to jump in like you said. You're right. A few people get in there too early, and a couple guys, you you lose to a couple guys, and then you're in trouble. You're on the outside looking in, and you got to fight so hard to get back, right? So go in when you're ready. Last segment between rounds. Ask you a question. There'll be a couple answers here. Okay. Favorite food to eat?
Yeah, no worries. Chocolate.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Hockey.
You have a favorite team?
Toronto.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man.
Favorite getaway spot in Canada?
Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Favorite getaway spot in Canada?
Let's say Niagara Falls. It's like only 15 minutes away, but it's beautiful.
Favorite country in the world other than Canada?
I'm losing connection. Sorry. Yeah, Hungary, man. I went there 3 years ago for a world kickboxing tournament, and it was beautiful. Just really old school. Like I like all the castles and all the Viking stuff. So it was really nice place to be. People were nice. Food was amazing. Couldn't eat too much there, but it was a good time.
Nice. Favorite type of music?
Old school 90s rap.
Favorite movie of all time?
Goodfellas.
Nice one. And who's in your top 5 pound for pound fighters of all time?
Top 5 pound for pound. It's a hard one. I got to give it to number 1, Anderson Silva. Second, GSP. Third, it's a hard one. Third. Trying to think. I'd say Jose Aldo in his prime, for sure. Fourth, give it to Bones. And then Izzy's coming up right now. You know, he's still got some work to do to make that top 5, but I'll give him top 5.
Who do you think wins between Pierre Yan and Aljamain Sterling if they make that fight?
See, I'm still not sold on Yan. I'm not. I see Aljamain taking it with his wrestling. But then again, Peter can knock him out. I'll give it to Aljamain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wins this Friday and how?
Oh, me, 100%. I'm taking this fight wherever I want it to go. I'd say end of the second, early third round. Once I find his timing, get in my flow zone, and yeah, I'm gonna take him out. Either TK or knockout. I feel like I put on a lot of muscle this year. I have a lot of power behind me, so I'm gonna be using it this Friday. So it's gonna be a good one.
And any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish off?
Yeah, my Instagram is My House MMA. You can check me out on there. So about all the social media. Check out my Facebook, Teshay, Gouthro. And sponsorships is kind of short notice, so I don't have any at the moment. Still working on them. Some will come though, for sure. It's a big stage to be on. Yeah, shout out to my team, NTT baby. We're gonna get it.
Awesome. So looking forward to this Friday, LFA promotion. Teshay Gouthro looking to go 4-0. Going to get a big W, bring it back to Canada, bring those heads back to Canada. And we'll be watching here, man. Good luck. This is Hooks. Yeah, good. This is Hooks in MMA. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, yeah.